And you're okay if I record you?
Sure. What's his name?
David.
Talking to Dave.
Yeah, this is 2-Day David. He was born yesterday. My name's David as well.
Yeah.
What was your name?
I'm Taylor.
Taylor. Good to meet you, Taylor.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
So you're recording, right?
I'm recording,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Well, David, if I was to give you some advice, let's see, I would say you're going to spend a lot of your time working. So you want to be sure that, you know, you got to stick with something because you got to become an expert in it. All right, my advice would be to stick with something, learn a lot about it, practice, 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 grow, grow, grow.
Yeah.
And then what you do for a job is you want to do something that you enjoy and that you're really good at. Because if you're good at it and you enjoy it, ideally it would also be hard. Because if it's hard and you're good at it and you like it, then you're going to make a lot of money while you're also enjoying doing it. So like I kept telling my wife, like, I gotta find something that it's really hard, but that I'm good at. Because that way, you're not gonna get paid well if it's not hard. But if you're not good at it, it's really gonna stress you out. So it's like, you gotta find your little niche. It might take a long time. You might start with a big, broad thing and then keep working it, focusing it down. I started with teaching, and then it was math teaching, and then it was math curriculum. Now it's math assessments. Now it's math multiple choice. And that's all I do, and it works out well. So you really gotta find something that you are good at. That, like I said, it's hard because then people will pay you, but it can't be hard for you. So it can't be stressing you out. So takes a long time, but if you can find a way to just kind of enjoy all that work time and not have it stress you out, then you can dedicate that time to other things.
Yeah.
If I was going to keep rambling, I would say, you know, your 20s, you know, like, again, first 10 years out there working, that's probably what you should focus on. You know, I didn't really have a wife, family, pets, kids when I first started my career. Luckily, I invested everything into that. So now I can invest all my time into that. Versus the other way around, you know, if you're family, wife, pets, kids early, then you might be 30 years old thinking, well, what am I going to do now? So that's just my advice.
Yeah.
Find something you like doing, work hard at it, and stick with it, because you're not going to be very good at it after a year or 2 or 3 or 5. You know, 10 years when you're the expert and no one can tell you anything about it, then you're good to go.
Can I ask you a few questions about that, if you don't mind? One of the advice you give is to stick with it. How do you know that you have found the right thing to stick with?
Oh, well, right. I mean, I think that kind of can't, I mean, I chose to stick with my career even though it was extremely hard. I mean, I knew the general path I was going, you know, like, oh, education, teaching is what I'm going to do. And so, yeah, I think that's probably the hard part, is deciding kind of which path you're going to walk down. I don't really know how I had advice for that. Me, I just kind of had like an epiphany. I felt kind of guided towards it, and I was then just committed myself to it. Like a lot of things, you kind of just commit to it. Once you decide to commit to it, you kind of wait, you know, kind of removes that thought of, oh, should I keep doing this? But it is important. I mean, if I had chosen to do all this towards like playing golf or something, that would have been terrible, you know, because it's like that wouldn't have suited me. So first, I think you're right. You got to really spend time and choose, well, what do I want to spend 10 years possibly doing? If that makes sense. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I have a few more if you don't mind. So you said that you did a broad math. You just did teaching, then you moved it into math, then you moved it into specific math and multiple choice. So how did you make the decision to say, I'm not just going to do broad, I'm going to do specifically this one?
Oh, well, I mean, again, it becomes what you're good at, you know, like there's lots of ways to be a good teacher. There's lots of ways to be good at most jobs. And I eventually found, like, you know, what I'm good at, my strengths are like with curriculum, you know, like I might not be the best at X, Y, and Z in the classroom, but I have good materials, you know, so I kind of chose that lever, and then over the year just kind of kept honing that and kind of honing that craft and getting better at that, and then that becomes like your bread and butter, you know, and then that becomes, all right, this is what I'm good at. And once you kind of realize that, you spend some time, energy, and again, if it's something that you like, then, you know, going home and watching YouTube videos, Instagram reels about it, it doesn't feel like work as much. So you just kind of naturally, you know, if it's what you're passionate about, you're just going to naturally be interested in it. You're going to naturally learn about it. You're going to naturally kind of become an expert over time. Does that make sense?
What happens if the thing that you're naturally good at and naturally interested in isn't something that's very monetary? It wouldn't give you a lot of money.
So I guess so, yeah. I mean, I think I'm fortunate now where it's like I found something that that I enjoy professionally, that I can earn a living doing. But I have my two hobbies are also, I restore furniture and I detail cars, and so it's like they're services themselves. So it's like I kind of have to. I have experience with, I really like doing this, and I could make some money doing this, but that would be tough. Like I think my other advice is like turning a hobby into a job is kind of the quickest way to kill the hobby. I think that's some advice I got recently. Yeah, like when I detail one car a week, one car a month, I can really dive into it and enjoy it. I had to do it every single day. If I had to build furniture every single day. So going back to that, what do you do if you can't find something to monetize? I mean, or if your passion is something that's tough to monetize, I mean, unfortunately, you got to find something that's going to monetize you too. I don't know. I feel like I kind of delayed. I put off a lot of my hobbies. Oh, watch out, David!
Ah, Dave.
I put off I postponed maybe a lot of my hobbies until later.
Yeah.
When you have disposable money and you have a little bit more disposable time. But that's a tough one. What do you do if no one's gonna pay you for it? I'd say, okay, here's my answer is, again, maybe you only contribute a little bit on it, but if you're working a half an hour a day, if you're working an hour a week, 2 hours a week here and there, over a few years, you will become so good at that thing that somebody will pay you for it.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying. So it's like, if you're trying to, I don't know, grow flowers, and you're like, I can't really make much money selling flowers to the florist. Well, I bet if you just did it, you would find a niche. You would find something that you were really enjoying about, and you would learn more. Next thing you know, I don't really grow flowers, but I do have a small greenhouse in my house, and I grow 15 of these rare orchids that I can, So like then I only do one thing. So I think it's about trying to do. I mean, I know in the entrepreneurial world they say, a lot of companies get in trouble because they try to do too much. Like you want to do one thing well, and like that's always what drove me, is that like I just want to be extremely good at what I'm doing, because like I said, that makes my job less stressful. It's like so being good at what you're doing, or doing what you're best at, is I think kind of paramount. But again, as long as you spend some time figuring out what that is, you might not be getting paid for what you're best at and what you most enjoy doing now, but if you stick with it and you have a long-term view, like 5 years, I'm gonna be great at this. That's kind of where I am now. I haven't built a single piece of furniture, right? But I know, I was like, in 10 years, I'm gonna be making some cool furniture. Right now, I'm learning about it. I'm taking little online courses. I'm just learning about it. And I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna piddle around, and I'm gonna screw up a little bit, and I'm gonna figure it out. In 5 or 10 years, I might do one custom piece of furniture every 4 months, or something like that. But I think the point is just sticking with it. You gotta narrow it down, and then again, if it's something that you enjoy, it's a narrow focus, and you're good at it, people are gonna pay you for it. So do less better is what we used to say as well. Like do less and do it better. Like trying to do too much, like I'll go back to teaching. I want to be sure I have the best relationships. I want to have the prettiest classroom, and I want to be sure that I give the most exciting lessons, and that my curriculum's the best. If you're focusing on all of that, it's like focus on one thing and do that really well. So.
Well, that's some great advice there.
Hey, thanks for letting me run my mouth, man.
Absolutely.
Maybe I feel like I got some advice. So,
no, I got it.
YouTube